Hello hackers, and welcome back to video number 3 in our LevelKit text adventure series. Now the purpose of this video is to go through and show you how to add a brand new room so that the game extends itself. In the last video we explored how we could add different options to our rooms, adding in also the brand new item of a mysterious key and showing how that can be equipped. Now we won't be using any of these files at this point in time, so I'm going to close those ones down. And at this point, what I'm going to be doing is extending the game so that after we defeat the goblin, we can move on to a different room. And then we're going to actually add 2 more items to the game itself. And what that's going to allow us to do is to have some armor that the player is going to be able to equip. So if we were to open our Goblin Victory room, you can see that at the moment, we just have an option to be able to return to the entrance, and this sends us back to our start room. Ideally, what we want to be able to do here is have another option that allows us to move forward with the game so that there's a little bit extra to be able to do. So first and foremost, what I want to do is go through and create that room. Now, because I'm nice and lazy, as you are very well aware from these videos so far, I'm going to set my Python set up a new Python file in the levels folder by right-clicking on the levels folder and selecting new Python file, and I'm going to call this one museum room. Okay, now that creates me a blank file, okay, a blank file here that's got nothing in it. Now, as I said, I'm really lazy, so I'm going to open up the armory room, press Control A or Command A on a Mac, and then select everything, Control C or Command C to copy it, and then I'm going to paste that in with a Command C or a Control V, depending on which system you're on. Now you can see here that I now have some text in my museum room, but unfortunately all of that text is exactly the same as what exists in my practice alcove or my armory room. I'm going to come up the top and just give it a little bit of a comment here so that I can explain what this one is. So this is a museum room that has 2 sets of armor. The user can only select one. Okay, now from here we obviously now need to go through and make some changes. The first thing being, what is the ID of the room? Now each of these IDs needs to be unique, so obviously can't select anything that I've selected before, but I'm going to add museum as the section here because that's just the first thing that I'm going to do. The title of the room, remember, is the thing that appears in the game state, so I'm going to say museum room with suits of armor, and that's what we're going to have there. Now the body text is what appears in the room in large font. So I'm going to go through and just say, you enter a room and there are 2 suits of armor. They are different colors. Okay, and now in this second line I might add the red set of armor appears to have some sort of force field around it, and the blue set of armor appears, let's go back, sorry, appears thicker and more durable. And the reason for that is we're going to set one up to be some magic armor and the other one to be something else. Now at this point obviously I can set the image that's going to appear, so remembering at that point I need to go into my images here and open up the registry, because these IDs here are what I am able to select. So at that point what I might do is, because we're kind of in an armory room, I might leave that one as armory blue because it's a neutral state. Not going to use the green for winning a fight, not going to use the red for losing a fight, not going to use the yellow that appeared at the start or a plain black background, and I obviously at this stage don't have a picture that I can add in. So the next step is obviously to go through and set up our 2 options. Now because both of the options are going to allow us to add a suit of armor, we're going to need to go back in and actually add those as items as well. So I'm going to come into my items section here, and now I'm going to add my 2 items. Again, doing this as efficiently as possible, we're going to copy the mysterious key twice, and we're going to go through and set that one there. So I'm going to call this one magic armor, and the second one I'm going to call physical armor. Okay, the name for this one is red armor, because we're not going to really say what it does, because that way it leaves a little bit of intrigue for the player, and we're going to call this one blue armor. Now the description is obviously something that we need to add, so we're going to call this one a red set of armor that appears to have a force field around it, and it's going to still be a quest item. The blue one is going to say a blue set of armor that is very durable. So we're hinting at the fact that it's thicker. So we can save both of those, knowing that we have magic armor now and physical armor. Now, as we go through and we now look at our option, okay, we can now go through and select that. So the first one is take the red armor, and we're going to gain the magic armor, and we're going to set this one to be armor taken, and we can't have the flag of armor taken either. Okay, we're going to delete both of these, or sorry, we're going to take off the hint, and we might add the effect of equip item of magic armor. So that'll add that there for us. We now can go through and do the same thing for our blue armor. Take the blue armor, and obviously we are this time going to gain our physical armor because it's a different item. The flag that we're going to set this time is actually the same one, because this is going to stop the user from being able to select both. Okay, so if they select the red armor, it'll set the flag of armor taken, and then because this one requires that they haven't taken any armor yet, it'll delete the blue armor as an option as well. If we were to select the blue armor, obviously the flag gets set as armor taken, and again, because the red armor requires that, it's going to get rid of that as well. The last thing that we want to do is we want to now set this effects item to equip as well. I might copy that so that it's a little bit quicker. So I'm going to grab that, except we're not going to select our magic armor. We are going to add our physical armor. Now, the one thing that I forgot to do back in our item section here is something that appears from the weapons. Okay, so when we go into our weapons file, we can see that we can have some effects and we can add some changes to the player's stats. So I'm just going to go through and add that here. So for our magic, we are going to have a stat of defense. Now we can only set one thing here. So we're going to set defense, and just to make it even, we can then go through and add this as well. Oops, let me copy and paste that again. The one thing to note, that if you wanted to do this really effectively and have like physical and magic damage resistance and stuff like that, you would need to go back through and modify some of the default values over here in the game engine so that you can track those particular things as well. That's a little bit more of a advanced feature, so I don't want to go into that right now in this very third video. The only thing that I forgot to mention is up here at the top in our body text, we never told the user that they can only select one of them. So we need to give it some sort of little bit of a story so that it makes sense. You see a pressure plate under each of the suits of armor. Moving one looks like there is a heavy weight that will crush the other. Now they get a bit of an idea that they can't select both. So what we're going to do now is have a quick playthrough so that we can see what that looks like. So I'm going to press play. As you know, this opens up into the background, so I'm going to grab that from there. So that we can progress through the game, let's speed run this through. I'm not going to read all of the content, but we obviously need to go to our practice alcove so that we can get our training blade. We might as well grab the mysterious key while we're here, and then we can go back to the start. Moving through to our goblin fight, we're going to fight him. We win the fight because we have that there. And we can see that at this stage, we can't get to our other room because we just go back to the entrance. So this is where we need to now come back to our goblin victory room, and we need to add some more stuff so that we can actually see it. Now, the first thing that we can do is we can copy and paste this guy here. And this Ooh, let's go back. Copy and paste that guy there so that we can now have this second option that's allowing us to go to the museum. This time we might say that we want to head further along the path. Okay, now this to section here is where we need to write the ID of the room. So knowing that we were in our museum room, this is the ID that we're talking about. So I'm going to grab the museum text there. So I'm going to copy and paste that, because the reason I'm copying and pasting is to make sure that I have it typed in exactly the same. The last thing that exists is up here at the top, we have no further text that explains why we might want to head to the museum. So we're going to add some more stuff up there. Further down the path, you sense there is something important. Okay, so we're just giving them a little reason to want to go a little bit further. Now they can return to the entrance, or they can head to the museum. Now if we leave them in this order, it would appear with the return to the entrance one first. So I'm just going to take that one out and place it at the back so that way it appears as the second option, because great user interface design normally allows users to select affirmative or positive actions first, and then negative or returning actions last. So we're going to add that there. Now because we've made that change, hopefully what we should see in our game when we open up our brand new version is we should be able to select all of the stuff that we've had before. I didn't get the key, but that's okay. We're now going to fight our goblin. When we fight the goblin, we win, but now you can see we have two options. If we head further along the path, we now get to our museum room that we just created ourselves. Up here at the top, you can see all of the text that we had about that we're going to have some stuff there. It looks like there's a heavy weight that's going to crush the other, and we can select one of the two armor. When we select the red armor, you can see that both entrances disappear, but in our backpack, we now have our red armor attached. We don't have the option to now be able to select the blue armor, and the reason for that is because both of those flags were tracking that one specific thing. Have you picked up any armor yet? What we could do at this point is we could build another room, and then because we've selected one, maybe there's a weight that falls from the sky, crashes the blue armor, but that shows you that now there's this other door that opens, or goodness knows what. The story is up to you at that point. But that's it for video number 3. Hopefully that's stepped through nice and simply with a little bit of backwards and forwards of how we can add some more items, how we can set a double flag so that users can only select one of the items that exists, and then also how we can add that brand new room so that in our existing game it extends it that little bit further. In video number 4, we're going to be starting to look at some more concepts that exist within the LevelKit adventure series. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video there.